Coming up on Good Morning Idaho.
Currently, honestly, a lot of the noise is coming from outsiders.
Our Sahana Patel listens as local residents weigh in on the plans for a Qatari Air Force presence on its way to Mountain Home.
I think that when you actually mix those cultures in with your own, it can be a very positive experience.
Plus,
half of our rural hospitals right now are already operating with a less than 1% margin.
Our Greenlee Clark highlighting the financial strain on rural hospitals across Idaho as they navigate budget cuts at the state and federal level. That comes as the government shutdown over health care now stretches into a 16th day with no end in sight.
I think this will be the longest shutdown in the history of ever.
Good Morning Idaho starts right now.
Connecting neighborhoods across the Treasure and Magic Valleys, telling stories from within our communities. This is Good Morning Idaho.
Good morning, Idaho. It's great to have you along on a Thursday. I'm senior reporter Roland Barris. As you can see, lots to get to from our large team of neighborhood reporters this morning, but we kick things off right now with a check on our weather as you get ready to head out the door. Remember the Spice Girls? You could be pumpkin spice.
Oh yeah. Wait, that's a good one. Maybe that'll be my Halloween costume. I'll go as a pumpkin spice girl.
There you go.
That's a good one, Roland. I'm going to save that. Now, either way, good morning to you as we get ready for the day ahead. It's Thursday or Friday Junior, and the weekend's around the corner, and so some pretty nice weather. Right now, we are looking at some showers exit off to our east, but a lot of them bringing in lingering showers this morning from Jerome to Twin Falls. A little bit heavier over there in Idaho Falls this morning. For many of us, it'll be pretty quiet, just a cool start to the day. So as you wake up and head into the bus stop, kiddos, 39, pack the light jacket. By this afternoon, it'll be sunny, upper 50s, and we'll see some pretty breezy winds by the time you're coming home. Roland?
Right. For those who don't know, she loves pumpkin spice.
Yes, and I'm wearing orange today, so that's fitting.
Orange today, that's right. All right, thanks, Sophia. Appreciate it. We turn now to the news to start this half hour with continuing coverage of a major international story right here in Idaho. Earlier this week, we looked at how the plan to bring Qatari military jets to Mountain Home Air Force Base was actually years in the making. It certainly didn't happen just overnight. And now, with more information out from the mayor and the military, our Sahana Patel speaks with locals to get their reaction.
Mixed reaction in Mountain Home as neighbors learn more about the Air Force's plans to partner with crews in the Middle East. I'm your Mountain Home neighborhood reporter Sahana Patel, continuing our coverage of that major international announcement that would bring hundreds of Qatari Air Force members to the Mountain Home Air Force Base. And some neighbors tell me they still have questions.
It's still kind of a confusing time frame for me.
Last Friday, the U.S. Defense Department announced plans for a Qatari Emiri Air Force training facility at the Mountain Home Air Force Base.
On behalf of the City of Mountain Home and the entire community, I am honored and I am proud to welcome this significant partnership.
For some, the news came as a surprise.
I mean, the escalation between Israel and Qatar this last month, I thought the timing was kind of off. I thought that our government would kind of take a step back from Qatar instead of just bringing them here. I thought that was kind of strange. I know the president recently received a jet from Qatar, so I mean, it makes it make a little bit more sense.
Army veteran and Mountain Home native Matthew McCain says while he was initially caught off guard, he sees value in integrating with different cultures.
And I think that when you actually mix those cultures in with your own, it can be a very positive experience, a very positive learning experience.
John Santos, whose family owns a local restaurant, points to the economic boost that came when the Singaporean crews arrived in 2008.
We've done catering services for them. They partake in the AFAD, and I hope that they integrate the Qatar, the Air Force, they do the same exact thing.
But not everyone is on board. Comments under the Idaho News 6 Facebook page shared concerns about the new training facility.
A lot of the noise is coming from outsiders, whether it be out-of-staters or even people in surrounding cities. But just know that us Mountain Home folks, we love people, and we want to build a culture of strength and unity and to just prosper.
The Qataris are expected to bring 12 jets to Mountain Home on a 10-year contract.
I'm a Christian, so you gotta love your neighbor and just be a good example.
Qatari food truck wouldn't hurt my feelings.
Base officials tell me Qatari Air Force personnel could begin training as soon as 2030. As we reported, this agreement has been years in the making. For a deep dive into what public documents say from 2022, you can go to idahonews6.com. I'm your Mountain Home neighborhood reporter Sahana Patel for Idaho News 6.
This is a developing story that we will continue to closely follow for you. You can find our complete coverage and watch the mayor's full press conference on idahonews6.com.
Idaho has 27 rural hospitals like this one in Emmett, and they're all feeling the impacts of budget cuts at the state and federal level. I'm your Emmett neighborhood reporter, Greenlee Clark, talking with the CEO of Emmett's only hospital and asking how these changes could impact patients.
In September, Idaho cut Medicaid reimbursement rates by 4% for all providers who see Medicaid patients, taking money away from hospitals that already run on slim margins, like Valor Health in Emmett.
That 4% cut for us is in the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of the year. And, when our margins are as close and tight as they are, it makes a pretty significant difference.
Federal cuts are next, scheduled for 2027 under the Big Beautiful Bill. The law reduces Medicaid expansion, ends certain supplement payments, and is expected to leave many more Idahoans without insurance.
What we anticipate there is another hit, probably in the hundreds of thousands of dollars annually. And really, it takes patients who are now eligible under Medicaid and takes that benefit away from them.
I also spoke with the Idaho Hospital Association to learn how rural hospitals statewide are bracing for the impact.
Half of our rural hospitals right now are already operating with a less than 1% margin.
Without federal funding safeguards, many small hospitals could struggle to cover losses from treating Medicaid patients.
We're estimating about 75,000 Idahoans will end up uninsured based on the provisions in the One Big Beautiful Bill Act.
A state map of critical access hospitals ranks Valor Health among some of the most vulnerable, based on patient demand, provider shortages, and its dependence on government funding. Turpin says without coverage, most people will skip routine care until it becomes an emergency.
That's really concerning for us because, like I said, they utilize our emergency department. That's not really the place to get primary care.
For now, Turpin is asking lawmakers to spend time inside their local hospitals and see the impact firsthand.
That would inform maybe some better decision making. We've done a lot of work to try to educate those elected leaders.
Valor Health will be expanding their services with a ribbon cutting for a new clinic here on November 17th at noon. I'm your Emmett neighborhood reporter, Greenlee Clark, for Idaho News 6.
Open enrollment on Your Health Idaho officially underway as of Wednesday. Now's the time to review your options and make selections for next year. It comes as prices are going up, and they could spike depending on what happens with subsidies and the government shutdown. For more on the rising health premiums and how Idaho compares to the rest of the country, head to idahonews6.com for Riley Shoemaker's full breakdown. Idahoans will have one less option when it comes to filling their prescriptions. As we reported, all Rite Aid pharmacy locations in the state have either shut down or transferred ownership. Many of those prescription records were purchased and transferred to CVS and Walgreens locations. You can check to see where your records went and request a copy for yourself at riteaid.com. The change means some rural areas like McCall now have just one pharmacy in town. The massive, recently remodeled location on Dinehart Lane now sits empty with a for lease sign in the window.
Nampa Mayor Debbie Kling reflects on her time in office at her final State of the City address.
8 years flies by, and I've loved serving.
After 8 years of leadership, Nampa Mayor Debbie Kling delivered her final State of the City address, reflecting on the city's growth and accomplishments. Under her leadership, crime dropped by 28%, the police department expanded, and major public works projects improved roads and infrastructure. Kling also celebrated Nampa's economic growth and the city ranking among the nation's best for income growth.
When we get back, we look at the latest on the government shutdown as the Treasury Secretary says it's now slowing down the U.S. economy. Details coming up. Welcome back, everyone, on a Thursday. It's 12 minutes past the hour. Let's take a look at your national headlines this morning. After a request from the Department of Justice, Meta has removed a Facebook group that shared information about ICE agents in Chicago. The group page, called ICE Sighting Chicagoland, had more than 80,000 members before it was removed, according to the New York Times. Attorney General Pam Bondi said the page was being used to target agents. The Times says a Meta spokesperson confirmed that the page was taken down, saying it violated policies against, quote, coordinated harm. Last week, Apple and Google removed apps from their app stores that were used to track immigration agents. Bank of America is facing a new class action lawsuit accused of enabling convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Filed on behalf of a Jane Doe and other victims, the suit claims the bank failed to flag suspicious transactions tied to Epstein, some allegedly made to abuse survivors. The bank didn't report the activity until after Epstein's 2019 death. Bank of America declined to comment, and a similar suit was also filed against Bank of New York Mellon. And Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says the government shutdown is costing the U.S. economy $15 billion a week. The congressional impasse could drag past Thanksgiving, according to one lawmaker. The Federal Reserve Chair says the shutdown is making it harder for the Fed to do its job because critical data is harder to get. Experts also saying that tariffs were already pressuring the economy before the shutdown began. And while the U.S. economy is showing resilience, they say that strength has its limits. CNN's Amy Kiley has the latest.
I've seen numbers that are starting to hurt the economy.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says the federal government shutdown is slowing the U.S. economy. His department estimates the impact is about $15 billion a week. The congressional impasse is dragging on. Lawmakers can't agree on whether to negotiate, let alone on how to fund the government.
I think this will be the longest shutdown in the history of ever.
The Federal Reserve Chair says he's starting to worry the shutdown will make it harder for the Fed to do its job. It relies on data to assess inflation and the broader economy.
We'll start to miss that data, and particularly the October data. If this goes on for a while, they won't be collecting it, and it could become more challenging.
Many experts say tariffs were starting to put pressure on the U.S. economy even before the shutdown. A new IMF report predicts they'll partly cause it to grow more slowly than the rest of the world in the coming months.
Tariffs tend to be significantly worse for the country that imposes them than the countries they're imposed upon.
The IMF says trade deals are lessening the blow from tariffs. Experts say that helped the U.S. stock market reach new record highs before trade tensions with China sent it on a roller coaster ride.
We do have these, I hate to say it, boom and bust periods. And invariably, what goes up does come down at some point.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
In Twin Falls, meet two sisters urging screenings for Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Good morning to our friends in Southeast Boise. You've got 60s and some breezy conditions to follow this afternoon. I'll have the rest of the forecast ahead.
Sophia Cruz with the Idaho News 6 forecast.
Well, I'm definitely wearing the jacket in the morning coming in these days, but it's actually pretty nice coming in today.
Yeah, it is pretty nice, but it's one of those mornings now where if you forget the jacket, you go back inside for it because it is pretty chilly. As you head out the door this morning, don't forget it. It is still going to be pretty cool as you wake up and start the day, but a big factor in why it is because we saw that cooler weather maker at the start of the week. Yesterday, it brought us just about near a quarter of rain from Mountain Home, Glenns Ferry into Twin Falls. The bulk of the moisture just south of the Boise area. We didn't see very much at all, really, any rain. Now, as we start to see the system exit off to our east and make its way into Wyoming, behind that we'll see some light and isolated showers into the Magic Valley this morning. But here in the Treasure Valley, it'll remain pretty quiet. It is bringing, though, a winter weather advisory as you make your way over into Wyoming from Jackson down to Alpine. So those areas are going to get a fresh dusting of snow. Now, eventually, we will see something similar to this into our weekend, which I'll get into. But for today, nice and sunny still. You've got 38 as you head into 8 a.m. So again, don't forget the jacket. By the afternoon, we'll be sitting in those lower 60s. It'll be a bit breezier at times. And the reason we are looking at some gusty conditions for today is because that weather maker left behind a strong pressure gradient at the surface. And so that in turn increases and is really the driving force of wind. What you'll notice is that we get gusts upwards towards 25 miles per hour into 1 o'clock today. and tomorrow. It looks breezy though tomorrow across our Magic Valley and a little bit more settled here in our Treasure Valley. And then by Friday morning, it'll be a bit breezier over into our mountains. Either way, this afternoon it's still pretty comfortable. You've got lower 60s to upper 50s into your valley floors and those mid 50s continuing to follow along in your mountains. The next big change we'll look at will arrive Sunday. So we look at a cooler weather maker arrive as it does. That front arrives Sunday afternoon. By 9 p.m. it's pretty quiet here in the Treasure Valley, but lingering showers will be apparent in your Magic Valley, and it will bring on that dusting of snow. So it lowers our snow levels to about 5,000 to 6,000 feet in elevation. So at our ridge tops, we'll get some slight accumulations. But behind that, it'll be a clear Monday and Tuesday, just a little bit cooler now that we'll see that northwesterly flow. So that cooler and drier air mass to kick off the next week. What it does leave us behind though is what our Euro model's picking up. So notice that you get anywhere from 7 inches, and again, this is at those ridge tops, down to just about an inch over into Stanley. Our temperature outlook shows that as we head into next week, though we do start it off pretty cool, our temperatures do return near normal, which is about 65 for this time of year. So it doesn't look like we'll be looking at a hotter than normal trend expected like we were before into next week. A lot of that is shifting over to our east. So when you take a look at the forecast ahead, it is pretty comfortable as we head into the weekend. You get mid 60s into Saturday. Rain chances arrive as early as Sunday, and the next week sweater weather returns by Monday.
According to the American Cancer Society, 1 in 3 Americans will develop cancer in their lifetimes. That's why early detection is so important. I'm your Twin Falls neighborhood reporter, Lorian Nettleton, introducing you to two sisters on a common journey for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Emily Ballard began treatment for breast cancer last November. Now, she says she's looking for the light at the end of the tunnel.
But it's like, okay, 2 more. It's just 2 more. It's going to be okay.
Emily's older sister, Stephanie, is a breast cancer survivor. She was diagnosed in 2023.
I've been a nurse for 30 years and I thought I knew a lot about cancer. And then I started the journey myself. And it's like, oh, I didn't know anything.
Family members of people diagnosed with breast cancer are at a higher risk of developing cancer as well, which makes screening so important. Both Emily and Stephanie told me they hope to inspire others to take the precaution.
I get to support others who are going through the same journey now.
St. Luke's and Twin Falls has breast cancer screenings available Monday through Friday. We'll have a link in this story on our website, idahonews6.com. I'm your neighborhood reporter, Lorian Nettleton, Idaho News 6.
At the Boise Airport, I'll show you an exclusive inside look at the brand new Capital City Public Market. Upgrades to vendors and concessions at the Boise Airport are now more than halfway complete. I'm your Boise Airport neighborhood reporter Brady Caskey, and the brand new Capital City Public Market opened to customers for the first time today, with a focus on local Boise businesses. From candles and chocolates to cups and clothing,
I love Boise.
Boise businesses are now front and center at the fast-growing airport.
We are just really wanting to emphasize the local aspect now at the Boise Airport with our concessions upgrades.
Jennifer Kronberg with the Boise Airport tells me long-distance travelers can now support small Boise-based businesses by browsing and buying items at the Capital City Public Market storefront.
We love to be able to expose our small local businesses to the people that we see at the Boise Airport.
She tells me BOI saw almost 5 million passengers last year, and this new shopping experience combines airport staples with hyper-local vendors.
So they'll have those practical items that are a grab and go that they need for their trip, but they can also visit these local options that wouldn't be able to support a standalone store here at the airport.
Up next is the newly renovated Bardenay restaurant, which aims to open by Thanksgiving, along with Flying M Coffee. Reporting from the Boise Airport, I'm Brady Caskey for Idaho News 6.
Oh yeah, if you haven't flown lately, the airport looking very much different these days. All right, thanks for joining us this morning on Good Morning Idaho. We've got a lot more in store in our last half hour. Here's a look at what's still to come from your neighborhood reporters.
Police are warning about a dangerous trend called swatting. Fake emergency calls that can lead to real consequences. In Meridian, how this huge facility could soon become the training grounds for Ada County deputies.
Connecting neighborhoods across the Treasure and Magic Valleys, telling stories from within our communities.
This is Good Morning Idaho.
Hey, welcome back to Good Morning Idaho on a Thursday, everyone. I'm senior reporter Roland Barris. Still a lot to get to this half hour from our team of neighborhood reporters. Like coming up in just a minute, a story new this morning. Riley Shoemaker bringing us the police warning against swatting after Canyon Ridge High School went into lockdown yesterday over a fake emergency report. Also at 6:45, as the average price of a used car has soared to tens of thousands of dollars, we're talking close to $30,000. I'll walk you through the process of how you can still get a good deal at the fraction of the price. First, though, let's get the latest on our weather with Sophia Cruz to get ready to head out the door this morning. Good morning, Sophia.
Good morning, Roland. It is going to be a nice day ahead of us, so good morning to you. Get that warm cup of coffee going. As you head outside, it'll be a bit chilly, but if you're waking up over into Jerome and Twin Falls, I want to give you a heads up. You will run into some light and pretty isolated showers. A lot of those heavier showers focusing more over Idaho Falls and Pocatello this morning. As we move through the day together, it's pretty chilly waking up, 38 into 8 a.m. By lunchtime, we're sitting in those lower 50s, so keep the jacket with you. By this afternoon, we'll be touching into those lower 60s, and we'll see some breezy winds. So it'll be nice and cool, just a bit breezy out there. And now it's almost that time of year where you just don't want to forget the jacket, period.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be needed in the morning. Thanks, Sophia. Appreciate it. We turn now to that story new this morning after a false active shooter call in Twin Falls yesterday. Riley Shoemaker has the story.
A false call claiming a student had a gun sent Canyon Ridge High School into lockdown on Wednesday. Police say it was a hoax, part of a dangerous trend known as swatting. Officers want to make one thing clear. This isn't a prank, it's a crime. I'm neighborhood reporter Riley Shoemaker.
What starts as a phone call can spiral into chaos. Schools locking down, students hiding, and officers racing to what they think is an active shooter. The trend, called swatting, has been reported across the country and here in Idaho.
What's known as swatting calls have become more prevalent. Law enforcement agencies and first responders are getting a little bit more training and experience into how to quickly recognize these type of situations.
Swatting is a felony in many states and can involve federal charges when calls cross state or country lines, even when no one is hurt. Officers say these calls waste time, tax resources, and put people in real danger.
The amount of resources that we send to these until we determine that there is no threat is massive, and it removes us from being able to help other citizens.
Each false report means officers drop what they're doing, diverted from real emergencies. And if someone local is found responsible, the penalties are severe.
So it's not taken lightly. And we even report these type of situations to the FBI. If it is determined that this is a student or someone local that made this false report, then they could be charged with crimes.
Across Idaho, police say they're working closely with schools to improve response and communication so parents get accurate information quickly and hoaxes are identified faster.
I do want to commend the staff and students at Canyon Ridge High School. They handled this situation appropriately and quickly.
Officers say that's the model. Take every threat seriously, but do not feed into fear.
Police want to be clear that swatting isn't a joke. It's a crime that can lead to felony charges, federal investigations, and massive fines. They hope raising awareness helps deter future hoaxes and keeps resources where they're needed most. I'm neighborhood reporter Riley Shoemaker, Idaho News 6.
Local law enforcement agencies are warning residents of a new scam going around. Swindlers are calling to threaten folks, saying they have a warrant and are demanding payment or a crypto deposit to avoid arrest. It's not the police. Canyon County says the scammers can be persistent and convincing, spoofing real police phone numbers or using fake background noise. But remember, police will not ask you for money over the phone. And if you're ever unsure, hang up and call the police station directly.
This large facility in Meridian could double the training space for Ada County deputies. I'm Meridian neighborhood reporter Allie Tripke, learning how this space could better equip first responders for emergencies.
More training, better quality training with better space it equals better service for the public.
Sheriff Matt Clifford gave me a glimpse inside the 38,000 square foot facility as plans are in the works to relocate the Ada County Sheriff's Office training headquarters. Clifford says the number of deputies has grown alongside Ada County's population. The new facility could feature several upgrades they didn't have in their old warehouse near downtown Meridian.
A training village, more room for our physical fitness facilities, all those things that come with a training center.
A scenario village, as well as larger classrooms, are some of the things that Clifford says are long overdue. Clifford expects the facility to meet their needs for the next 5 to 10 years, but hopes a long-term regional training center could eventually serve agencies across the Treasure Valley. You can share your thoughts with Meridian's Planning and Zoning team at a public hearing Thursday night. And if plans move forward, the agency hopes to be operating some trainings here by springtime. In Meridian, I'm neighborhood reporter Ali Tripke for Idaho News 6.
Government shutdown, everybody focuses on D.C., but when it boils down to the fact, it's us. It's the person that you go to church with. It's the person that you're shopping in the grocery stores with.
Tim Wells, chapter president of a labor union representing federal firefighters stationed at military bases around Norfolk, Virginia, says the people he represents are concerned about when their next paycheck will come.
We're essential personnel that still have to go to work, still have to go every day, and even though we're not getting paid until the government opens back up.
They're not alone. Roughly 1.4 million federal workers are in the same boat, including air traffic controllers. Dan McCabe with the National Air Traffic Controllers Association is worried about the fragility of the already stressed ATC system.
This job is very stressful. It is. And they don't need the added stress of wondering when they're going to get paid again.
Now, some FAA facilities are reporting issues with staffing shortages, causing delays for travelers. In past shutdowns, government workers received back pay once an agreement to reopen the government was reached. This go-around, that's unclear. A draft Office of Management and Budget memo suggested that furloughed employees wouldn't get paid despite a 2019 law signed by President Trump during his first term that assured federal employees would recoup their lost wages. In New York, I'm Lee Waldman.
Want to cut down on energy costs this winter? Consider a home energy audit. If you live in Boise and act fast, it might even be free. The city of Boise is partnering with Idaho Power to provide third-party inspections of your home from your crawl space to your attic to help identify areas where you could use more energy help and save money. That includes a blower door test to look for air leaks that could be driving up your heating bill. Other options include better light bulbs, a high-efficiency shower head, and pipe wrap for your water heater. Learn more on the Idaho Power website. All right, 6:36. Let's take a look at what's happening in your neighborhood today. As part of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, Ada County Victim Services Center is hosting its annual Taking Steps Against Domestic Violence Walk. It's this afternoon. Should be a very nice afternoon for it. The walk will start on 6th Street at the Victim Services Center and end on the steps of the Ada County Courthouse. The walk is set to start at 1 p.m. From 5 to 7 p.m. this evening, the community is invited to join Meridian Food Bank volunteers at a free community tailgate. There will be hot dogs and hamburgers for free, and while there's no charge, donations will certainly be gladly accepted. Every week during the school year, volunteers help pack around 900 weekend bags for students in the West Ada School District, each containing 6 meals and 2 snacks. And at Boise State, part of the Distinguished Lecture Series, American historian Wilfred McClay presents How to Think About America's 250th Birthday, which is coming up. He will discuss America's imperfect history while also leaving space for forgiveness, focusing on how to balance remembrance with understanding. That event is free and it's open to the public starting at 7 p.m. It will be held in the Student Union building.
Our neighborhood of the day is Southeast Boise, where this afternoon we'll be sitting in those lower 60s with some breezy winds and nice sunshine. This is also where we shot Love Your Neighborhood this week. Take a look at this coming up after the break.
The Idaho News 6 Allergy Report is brought to you by Boise Valley Asthma and Allergy Clinic.
Okay, everybody, heads up on your allergy report. Sage in the high category, Chenopod being lower. We're just really keeping our eye on sage as we head through the week together. I'll have all the updates that you need to know right here.
Love Your Neighborhood, brought to you by ICCU.
This week's Love Your Neighborhood, we're in Southeast Boise at Coffee with a Twist. We're going to tell you what the twist is.
We'll say hi to our wonderful baker, Audrey.
The ham and Swiss twist is by far the most popular that we sell of the pastries. Pastry side, my dad lived in France for a couple years, and then he came back to America and started his own bakery back in the 80s. And we always had this idea to kind of combine the two ideas of like her dream for a coffee shop and then to bring the twist here.
What has it been like working together?
It's been the most fun thing in the whole world.
My favorite thing ever. About 10 years ago, I volunteered at a local coffee shop downtown. Being in a new place, it was just kind of a home away from home for me. I learned how to be a barista there, and it just kind of sparked this passion for me. I loved not only making coffee, but serving the community. I knew way back then, I was like, one day I would love to have my own shop, and this spot came available, and we were like, yes, this is the one. And everything kind of fell into place. We're gonna make a salted vanilla maple latte with our homemade vanilla bean syrup. We use real vanilla beans. I knew I wanted to make our own sauces and syrups from the very beginning. It was just something that I feel so passionate about. Salted vanilla maple latte has been by far the most popular. It's so good. Here's that salted vanilla maple for you. Thank you so much.
We didn't expect it to be so popular right away. The support from kind of the Southeast Boise community has been really cool.
I want people to feel when they walk in here like it's a big warm hug. We really are wanting to create such a just a kind and positive environment for people in this area. So that's kind of the goal for us in our community. It's amazing how just a cup of coffee can make somebody's day.
And that's a wrap on this week's Love Your Neighborhood. We're in Southeast Boise at Coffee with a Twist, where you can take home a warm hug and a twist. That tastes like a cinnamon roll.
Can you really drive a reliable used car for less than $5,000? I talked to a used car specialist to find out how. The average price for a used car these days is $32,000, if you can believe that. I'm senior reporter Roland Barris, and I hate car payments. So I wanted to find out if you could buy a used car that's reliable for $5,000 or less. And here it is, a 2007 Honda CR-V with 330,000 miles on it. I got it for $3,400, and you might think, well, that's just crazy. It's a disaster waiting to happen. But I'll tell you what, I bought this car a year and a half ago, and it's had almost no problems. And you can do the same if you follow a few simple rules. First rule about used cars, there are no guarantees. So you must do your homework, but buy the right car, and you could save a bundle. The second rule about used cars, to get one cheap, it generally is going to have lots of miles, and not many make the grade. But it's only a couple companies that are doing it, right?
Yep.
And who's that?
By and large, probably Toyotas and Hondas. We see those lasting the longest.
That includes their luxury alter egos, the Lexus and Acura, because they have the same basic components that are relatively cheap to repair. I like to surf Craigslist for cars, and Chris says use the filter to search for private sales only. Probably get a better deal at a used car dealer or at a individual seller?
Definitely individual seller. Used car dealers are more expensive.
And here's why you stick to Honda and Toyota. These Minis, they look great, and they are super cheap, but there's a reason for that.
A lot of times the maintenance on those is going to be really expensive. You know, they're basically just miniature BMWs.
Chris says car listings that mention recent repairs are a good thing if they have the paperwork, especially for Subarus, which have good reliability except for the head gasket and timing belt.
Yeah, if they've just done the timing belt and water pump, that, you know, shows that they do maintenance on more of a regular schedule. Those are ones that if you wait until they fail, it's going to take out the engine entirely. And so if someone says, you know, hey, every 60,000 miles, I know I need to get my timing belt and water pump done, then you're probably going to be buying a better maintained car.
And the Better Business Bureau offers the best advice no matter what used car you're interested in.
I need to have a pre-purchase inspection done by a qualified mechanic before I buy the car. And even then, things can go wrong. and it's not the seller's responsibility if it's a used car.
An inspection should cost between $100 and $300, and Chris says make sure to have the mechanic check the warning codes because they can be expensive and are easy to clear temporarily. Check engine light's not a good thing.
No, it's not a good thing.
And remember, almost all high mileage cars are going to need something in the first year.
Buy something with that $5,000 budget in mind. So in other words, a $3,000 car that needs $2,000 in repairs is still that $5,000.
So here's the deal. Soon after I bought this car, it did need a few things. It needed a CV axle, a new battery, and an alternator, but all of that cost less than 2 average used car payments. And I've had hardly any trouble since. In Nampa, I'm senior reporter Roland Barris, Idaho News 6.
Sophia Cruz with the Idaho News 6 forecast.
All right, can you believe it? 336,000 miles on that car.
That is absolutely insane. When I heard that number, my mouth dropped.
I know,
to
right?
the floor.
But it keeps going.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it can get you up the mountain when it's time for us to go snowboarding and skiing. So that's what's most important here, okay? As you start to wake up with us this morning, good morning to you. We are almost approaching our 7 o'clock hour, and pretty soon we'll see that sun coming up. We've got 40s over at our village at Meridian. Nice shot of the morning. I can't wait for you guys to actually be able to see it, though, once we see that sunrise. Right now, it is going to start to pick up and be a little breezy if you're walking out in Caldwell, Glenns Ferry, or even into Twin Falls. We'll notice those winds more so into the afternoon, and the reason why we're seeing this is because of this low pressure system now hovering over Utah and between Idaho. It's eventually going to shift over to our friends in Wyoming, and behind that, it's increased our pressure gradient at the surface, which is the driving force for wind. So showers this morning are accompanying some spots. Others are just getting some breezy winds, but if you don't notice them now, you'll notice them by lunchtime. Showers are exiting off to our east, so they're going pretty slowly as you make your way from Idaho Falls into Pocatello. That's where a bulk of those showers are moving through, but if you wake up in the Magic Valley, you may run into a few too, but they're pretty light. Not expecting really any impacts to your morning commute. By 3 o'clock today, that's when those wind gusts are going to start picking up. We get near 25 miles per hour from the Treasure Valley into the Magic Valley. Into tomorrow, breezy conditions will follow you into that Magic Valley, and it'll look a little bit calmer here in our Treasure Valley. And then we'll see lighter winds as we approach the weekend and get ready for Friday. Now this afternoon is still pretty comfortable regardless. You've got lower 60s to upper 50s into your valley floors, but tonight we could see temperatures cool near that point where you could see some frost. So just a heads up, we could potentially see a frost advisory, but you get 35 over in Mountain Home, 35 into Caldwell, 34 over in Baker City. So that's going to be something we'll watch for into the afternoon today. But either way, it's still pretty good regardless on our forecast. Mid-60s as we get ready for our Saturday. Next chances of rain arrive Sunday. And then into next week, we started off a lot cooler with sweater weather returning by Monday and Tuesday, and temperatures below normal and sitting in those 50s. We start to see them return near normal by Wednesday and Thursday as 60s approach. All right, it is 6:50 and we are going to get you ready for your Thursday morning commute.
The Idaho News 6 traffic report is brought to you by Champion Windows.
All right, just taking a look across our map this morning. Pretty quiet over in Caldwell, Middleton, and Star, but as you start to make your way on to I-84 eastbound, no surprises here, of course. Garcher Road starting to look a little slow up into that westbound lane, and especially as you start to head on to I-84 near this area. So if you're approaching Garrity Boulevard, here's what it looks like. It's a pretty busy morning right now. Our drive times aren't looking too bad, but it is about 42 minutes, and it is only 6:51. So if you're planning to head this way, something I'm keeping my eye on as you make your way eastbound. We'll keep you up to date right here throughout the morning.
Now we'll look outside from the Treasure Valley Chevy Dealers Tower Cam.
In this morning's GMA First Look, AI prank warning.
You're causing your friends or your family to panic, to think you're in danger.
Imagine picking up your phone and you see an intruder at your door. But these images are not real.
It's just the people in our house.
They're part of a trend called the AI homeless man prank, where users deploy artificial intelligence to create fake images of a man inside your home. Police are warning it needs to stop now.
We will get to the bottom of the matter if it's a real crime or if it's a prank. If you're thinking this is funny or you're thinking this is something you may want to try, please think twice on behalf of your friends and family, and then also don't risk getting yourself in trouble or having to go to court being charged with this. It's easily preventable.
And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll have much more on this AI prank trend. With your GMA First Look, I'm Will Reeve, ABC News, New York.
All right, everyone, welcome back to Good Morning Idaho. And we're just wrapping things up here on a Thursday morning. In case you missed it, here are the top stories that we're following from our neighborhood reporters.
Mixed reaction in Mountain Home after news of a new Qatari training facility coming to the Mountain Home Air Force Base.
Last week, the Defense Department announced a new training facility at Mountain Home Air Force Base, bringing Qatari pilots to Idaho as soon as 2030. Mayor Rich Sykes calls it a significant partnership, while some residents say they're still looking for answers. Others see benefits, pointing to economic growth and cultural exchange, similar to when Singaporean crews arrived in 2008. The agreement is expected to last 10 years and include 12 Qatari jets.
Idaho has 27 rural hospitals like this one in Emmett, and they're all feeling the impacts of budget cuts at the state and federal level. I'm your Emmett neighborhood reporter, Greenlee Clark, talking with the CEO of Emmett's only hospital and asking how these changes could impact patients.
In September, Idaho cut Medicaid reimbursement rates by 4% for all providers who see Medicaid patients, taking money away from hospitals that already run on slim margins, like Valor Health in Emmett. Federal cuts are next, scheduled for 2027 under the Big Beautiful Bill. The law reduces Medicaid expansion, ends certain supplement payments, and is expected to leave many more Idahoans without insurance.
In Twin Falls, meet two sisters urging screenings for Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Family members of people diagnosed with breast cancer are at a higher risk of developing cancer as well, which makes screening so important. Both Emily and Stephanie told me they hope to inspire others to take the precaution.
And you can learn more about all of these stories on our website. Just head to idahonews6.com.
Now, the Out the Door forecast, brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors.
6:56 is your time, and as you get ready to start your Thursday, grab the light jacket. We're sitting with 39 through 7 a.m. By the time we head into lunchtime, we'll be touching into those 40s. This afternoon, you've got 50s and then eventually 60s as we head into 5 o'clock. All right, let's get you ready for your morning commute now.
The Idaho News 6 traffic report is brought to you by Champion Windows.
6:57 is your time, and we are giving you a live look of downtown where commuters are heading out for what's going to be a great Thursday or Friday, Junior. We're almost to the weekend as you start to head out. Here's what it looks like on your roads right now. I-84 eastbound seeing some slow up. I haven't seen ITD report an incident, but you will run into some slowdown here, so just a heads up. Karcher Road as you head on that westbound lane is another area where we're looking at some slowdown this morning. And just to give you a look out there, I-84 Garrity looking packed as can be for Thursday morning. That's not good. Now you got Caldwell to downtown sitting at just under 37 minutes, so things are improving, but I'm gonna go ahead and keep my eye on it as we head into our Thursday. But it looks pretty busy. People are eager to get into work.
Yeah, no question. We've seen worse, but it's a busy morning out there. Hey, it's Halloween is coming up pretty soon here, and this is a haunted world. And have you been to this before?
I have never. I'm not a fan of like going to things like this, by the way.
Is that right? Because you're too scared of it?
Yeah, I just prefer not to pay to be scared.
Right. Okay. There's enough else in the world that scares you. We're gonna go check it out, though. It's gonna be fun. The crew here at Good Morning Idaho, and so we'll do.
Oh yeah.
That guy has got the worst job ever, having to hang from the ceiling.
Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of fun.
Okay. We'll check it out and we'll show it to you. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day, everyone.